Hello everyone. Communication, which is a substantial part of our life, well knitted transportation and communication together, they do miracles, they do wonders, not only in the economic development of a country, but also in general, they lead to the development. And we discussed in our previous lectures that communication had been with us even when civilizations had just started, had just begun to establish. We are on the pages of your NCERT 90, 91, 92. That is the end of the chapter. We are discussing about the communication, about the different modes of communication. We discussed earlier that it can be personal communication and mass communication. I rightly told you that personal communication can be of different types. It can be face-to-face communication, it can be telephonic communication, it can be written communication personally through letters, greeting cards, etc. And in the metropolitan cities, there are different channels to facilitate it. Then in today's world, there is also audio-visual communication. So it has enlarged, it has enhanced today because of globalization. Then we discussed about the mass communication. Again, it can be oral, it can be written in the form of newspapers, etc., magazines, etc., or it can be audio visual, like this is our audio and visual communication with you. So it is a very important part of our life today. To facilitate communication, India has the largest post and telegraph system, which is the largest in the world. I told you earlier. And in the telecom services, India stands first in Asia. Previously, villages were not connected with all these facilities, but today almost all the villages have been connected with the communication facilities, with the telephonic facilities. And there is subscriber trunk dialing STD facilities available to each and every village, and even the rates of STD have been kept uniform throughout the country. Then we have the facility of radio and television. Communication as it is concerned, radio and television are playing a very important role in it. Radio through Akashvani, it broadcast a number of programs for different categories of the society, for different sections of the society, taking from children to students to farmers to industrialists and whatnot. It is not only the means of spreading education but also entertainment, knowledge about the information of the whole world, not only local informations, not only the informations of our own country, but international world. Similarly, television, the national network of television, this is the largest terrestrial network in the world in India. And it broadcasts, it telecasts, radio broadcast program and television telecast, because it is audio visual both. A number of programs have been telecasted for, again, for different categories of the society, and even the lessons to the students, they have been given on it. Today, many private channels have been entered in this, and they have facilitated it, they have enlarged it, they have widened this facility for us. As far as the written mass communication is concerned, newspapers are playing a significant role in it. There are newspapers which are published in India, more than 100 languages and dialects. The largest number of newspapers that are published in India is in Hindi language. Second number goes to English as the second official language. Third goes to Urdu, and the rest for regional languages everywhere. So that all the people, they are able to communicate with each other, and there is no gap between them, and they can exchange their views, they can exchange their ideas. We are living in a democratic world, we are living in a democratic country where ideas, they intermingle, we come with more and more enlarged, more and more enhanced ideas about different subjects on different topics, and then we give our suggestions, and then new things come up. So newspapers are doing it very well. They are playing a very important role in communication. Similarly, films and cinema. Cinema had been not only the means of entertainment and enjoyment for us, but even cinema, it is very important for communication, because every film, every cinema that we watch, it gives us a social message. It gives us a political message. It gives us a message which is very important for the society. You can see in every film, in any documentary, in any of the foreign or Indian film, because there are two categories of this cinema, Indian film and foreign film, and there is an organization in India called CBFC, Central Board of Film Certification, which certifies whether these are Indian films or foreign films. Correct? So cinema is playing a very important role, not only as far as entertainment is concerned, but also for spreading knowledge, spreading messages, giving messages to the people, etc. India produces a number of documentary films, other films, so as to not only entertain but also to communicate with the people, give them messages, and spread enlightenment among the people, which is very necessary today. So this was about the importance and about the communication part of our life. It can be asked in 3 marks, it can be asked in 5 marks. You can elaborate these topics. They are very general topics. You can write down a lot. You can connect it with today's modern modes of communication through IT, information technology, very well connected with all these things, and communication had been with us since long. Our next topic for today will be foreign trade. Foreign trade. It is a barometer. It is just like a barometer to know about the economic growth and development of a country. When goods and services are exchanged in a country, this is a trade. But when goods and services are exchanged between the countries, far off places, we cross our borders, the merchants and the traders and the producers, when they cross the borders of their own country and they enter in other countries to sell their products and sell their goods and services, this is termed as foreign trade. In simple words, you can give the definition of foreign trade as export and import taken together is what we call foreign trade. Export and import taken together is called foreign trade. However, there is a balance of trade. Balance of trade means the difference between the export and import. I will give you one example for that. I wanted to explain you about the balance of trade. For that, you can have an example that if in a country there is more import and less export, it is unfavorable balance of trade. Now you understand? The difference between the export and import is known as the balance of trade. If import exceeds export, we are buying much but we are selling less. This is unfavorable for any country, unfavorable balance of trade. And just reverse it, its adverse is that if a country export more and import less, this is called favorable balance of trade, because we are earning more and we are spending less. So this is asked in 3 marks in your board examination. What is foreign trade? Export and import taken together is called foreign trade, or when goods and services are exchanged between the countries, this is called foreign trade. Balance of trade is the difference between its export and import. If export exceeds import, it is favorable balance of trade. Reverse it, if import exceeds export, it is unfavorable balance of trade. The last topic in this chapter is tourism as a trade. Tourism. About tourism, you have discussed, you have read in your previous classes that tourism is also working as an industry, as a trade in India. And the substantial part of India's foreign exchange goes to tourism. Because in India, there are so many places, very beautiful places, that have been developed as tourist centers. Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, South Indian temple, rock architecture, South Indian temple, it is an attraction for the foreigners. Beautiful beaches at Goa and so many other places, the temples, etc. These are the tourist places in India, hill stations, very popular among the foreign tourists. Generally, we consider tourism as just to go outside and visiting certain important places. Like when we go to Agra, instantly we come to know about Taj Mahal, and we only associate tourism with all these things. But as students of geography, you must know that there are different types of tourism. There can be ecotourism, there can be adventure tourism, there can be cultural tourism, there can be medicinal tourism, there can be so many different types of tourism concerning with the education, with the knowledge. Correct? So different types of tourism, people can go to the other countries to fulfill their objectives. If they wanted to go through, for example, many tourists come to India to study the herbs of India, the Ayurveda. Many of the tourists, they come to India to see our ecosystem or to learn the culture of India, our dresses, our dances, our mode of music, our cuisine, way of cooking food, etc. So there can be different types of tourism. However, tourism has a substantial, a very important part to play in our future, because it is an upcoming industry. Upcoming industry has a bright future in India. Why? Because so many times while teaching you different topics, I have told you that the northeastern part of India, this one, Assam, Nagaland, Tripura, Mizoram, the northeastern part of India is very beautiful part of the country. And there is a very good scope of tourism in the northeastern part of India. In future, if we develop this area, if the government develop this area and we develop certain places, some beautiful places are there in northeast and lot of greenery is there, then this upcoming industry can have a better future. Millions of people get employment, because not only when a place is developed as a tourist center, there is a development, there is a general development, economic development, but also local crafts, local people, transportation, etc. They all get employment. The local industries, the local crafts, they get a boost, they get an encouragement. These upcoming industries, these small industries which are based on the handicrafts, they get a boost, they get an encouragement. When tourists go over there, they love to buy all these things, they love to buy all these handicrafts of India. So even they get employment, as well as hotels and other people, they also get employment because of tourism. So with tourism, so many other employment opportunities are associated. So it has a bright future in India. So like this, we complete this topic today. We complete this chapter, in fact, today. So wait for another lecture with the new book, Your Democratic Politics. We will start with that book and we will see what we discuss in the next lecture. Till then, it's a very good bye from me, and prepare your notes.